I've got you right where I want you.
But you're so far away.
And I'm aimed in the wrong direction. Man, that was good theater right there. It's amazing neither one of us have a Tony. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine. Today we are talking about Season 7, Episode 13, Field of Fire. Mike is all fired up because his Eagles won the first game of the season. I'm all fired up because I got my flu and COVID shots. Here we go, ready to roll.
Friend of the show, YouTube viewer who joined me on the watch along for this episode at patreon.com/KandM.
Mm-hmm.
During the stream, lovingly, at least 3 to 4 times, mentioned that you and I are professional actors and that they come to the channel because of our insight as professional actors. And every time we do those cold opens, I shudder to think that anyone has ever paid us money.
It is astounding that people have literally paid us money to sing, dance, and act.
Yeah.
Dance! I've been paid money to dance!
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I can, because I was next to you. Many of those times.
Oh, yeah. No, that's...
Yeah, much like our podcast, Keith. The Philadelphia Eagles got it done. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't particularly good, but it finished.
It started well, but that's also why I'm sleepy. That our little weather delay was not well timed. We're too old for that.
Football in 2025 is a weird thing.
Well, everything in 2025 is a weird thing. Like I was joking with the lady who gave me my vaccines. Like, this might be the last time anyone has access to them. So
politics is too interesting, and football is too boring and safe. Who knew?
Interesting might not be the wrong word, and neither one of them is safe.
Yeah, well done.
But speaking of old, so this is a little bit.
Me?
You know what?
this person?
I can't imagine, right? When I trim my beard down, like it disappears because it just looks like I've got white on my face. It's not good.
Yeah, but now that it matches, this is working for me right now.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I mean, right now you're sort of like serving like who? From the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
My genetics is very interesting. This is not like a planned thing. This is just what it is in general. This is like a run your hand through your head. So, I mean, it could be worse.
It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
I am just happy to have any hair.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
It's crazy that as you get older as a man, I guess I don't need to qualify that. As you get older, what is important, like, drastically changes. Like, you
start triaging.
Yeah, having hair is just like, you're like, okay, I got to check my wins, and that's every morning. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure. But that kind of tie into something important that we're about to do. But we should do it in our first segments, talking about what the patrons have to say about last week's episode, Emperor's New Cloak. And because I guess I teed it up, last week I made an offhand comment that I found it dubious that there might in the universe be human beings who voluntarily watch this show and are under 30 years old. And I was like, you know what? If you're out there in the world listening to this and you're under 30, let us know, and we're going to give you a fake prize that is not a physical thing that you can of no value.
Yeah, and I'll add to that because how do I say this and not seem grateful? I am grateful. We didn't think anybody was going to watch this show, let alone be patrons, right? But it's not thousands upon thousands of people who watch the show. And
Certainly
so
not.
I just assume everyone who's watching chimes in here and there, right? Not thinking that I listen to so many podcasts and watch so many things on YouTube. I never engage in any way, shape, or form. That is not necessary.
The majority of our audience.
So even though I believed in my heart that there was a couple people probably that were not old dudes like us watching the show, I did not think anyone would take the time to type the words out.
And here we go. So we got more than one. Would you believe this? Of course, one we should have known all the way, and that is, of course, the mysterious Walter from the mysterious household. Very much under 30. We also heard from Joshua Gadiso, who said, I'm a viewer under 30. I'll be 26 years old in October. I only started the original series in 2019 and the rest of Berman Trek in 2020. Awesome.
The kids are all right, Keith.
Yes. And Ramen Noodles says, you know what? You can actually drop us a message or a comment on the audio podcast version. I think it's on Spotify or one of those.
Which is probably much more enjoyable than looking at us for 2 hours.
If I'm going to consume our show, it's definitely that way.
Yeah.
But Ramen Noodles comes in. I'm 25. Where's my prize, son? Mike?
Well, Keith,
let's give him that prize.
You know, we always overpromise and underdeliver, but if we make the prize easy for us?
Yes.
All right, you were promised. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you did it! Congratulations for not being old. Please enjoy these unwrapped Werther's originals from the two old men on this show.
Now be careful, don't suck too hard because it'll hurt your gums.
I just want to give some time for people to clip that out and make it their ringtone.
Yeah. Nice. All right, thanks so much. So Keith, since we did that, the next one I'd like to throw out, since we're doing this now, we love the Mysterious Anne. We love Deborah. We love all of the lovely women and female identifying folks who engage with us. But I'm sure there are others. I'd like to know where my lady's at. Let us know in the chats. I'm curious. You know, are there any? Because it's often a bro fest up in here.
That's true. That's true.
So just curious. I'm trying to get some demos. You know what I mean? For the ratings.
Okay, sure.
And if you got any single ladies out there, my buddy Keith over here, he's looking.
Hey, look, I am vaxxed, definitely not waxed, and too afraid to swipe right, baby.
If you like your men subterranean,
yes,
with their own space, you've really hit it here.
Are you looking for a grumpy bridge troll? Who doesn't care if you're clopping? He's not coming out.
But he does read comments from our patrons on the internet, and he'll begin doing that now.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you for bailing us out of that. Joshua Cronin says the mirror episodes should never be taken seriously about Emperor's New Cloak. They aren't the greatest of Trek, but I enjoy the continuing arc of seeing what's going on over there. Plus, it allows our characters to act different. I get a kick out of them. This is definitely better than Resurrection. Hard agree. Probably gonna go with 71 self-sealing stem bolts. Brian from Video Game Drive-By. I just wanted to try. Brian from Video Game Drive-By. Hey guys. Halfway through, I also always forget this episode exists. In my defense, this and the last episode do come sandwiched between one of the best episodes of all of Trek and the other half of the final season of the best Trek series. They never stood a chance for me. I referred to last week's episode as unnecessary, and this episode kind of feels the same, if not worse. It also feels like it just needed to check some boxes before we get to the second half of the season. I still like it a tiny bit more than last week, mostly because I like Miralita. So much that I have a holographic bridge officer modeled after her in my Star Trek Online account. Oh, that's fun. Alongside my Holo Bashir, Holo Voyager Doctor, and Holo Rom. But that has nothing to do with this episode. I've never played the Star Trek Online.
I did early days. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. All right. A few good jokes in a tired setting. 66 very confusing stem bolts.
He just summed up our podcast.
They look 66 and they're both confusing and confused. Hibernation Pod comes in with first. Yes, Hibernation Pod does indeed get the first comment this week. The prize, amen, the prize for being under 30 is we won't touch you, or a free trip to Puerto Rico. Hilarious.
So good.
That literally made me laugh out loud.
I think that's the comment that made me type into the chat, hey, this wasn't my favorite episode, but maybe one of my favorite comment threads. Like, people are now adjusting their comedy to our sensibilities, and it is very entertaining.
Hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. The Delta Quadrant now has a whole new meaning. I have, speaking about our, gross, our Mike Pack Delta conversation.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Hey, you know what? We're just spitting truth fire over here, though.
Oh, boy. I've only seen a small portion of the original series myself, and in the manner in which Keith described it. The only scene
Stop. Because I want to put a button on that. I think we had said, I forget. We were talking about theater backstage stuff, and we've been given tidbits, the Mike Pack, the spray vodka and such. Next time you see a play, all right, I'd already told you to think about the costumes.
Go see a play.
Yeah, go see a play. Go see a musical or a play, local theater, professional, doesn't matter. Not only is it great to appreciate the actors and the designers who have worked on the show and the set and the sound, there are people, all right, who the fires they put out every day is that someone's butt sweat shorted a microphone. And so they have to find a new microphone, place it inside of a condom, and then strap it to my butt. Like, that's someone's job.
Yeah, and if you're and before you ask, when he says condom, he means a literal condom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what keeps it dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say in my lifetime, I've used more condoms that way than the other, Keith.
There it is. There it is. I'm
not for lack of trying.
I mean, you get to a certain point in your life where you realize, they do have expiration dates. You should probably check those.
Yeah, so do I.
Anyway.
Sorry, start that comment over.
So Hibernation Pod was talking about watching the original series. The only scene I ever truly remembered from the 80s watch was the epic Kirk-Gorn battle. This episode feels like a non-canon alternate universe. Universe going into an alternate universe. I never cared for any of them on Deep Space Nine. I really do like those kinds of episodes. It wasn't all hate, and definitely no love from me. Undetermined number of self-sealing stem bolt. Hilarious.
Don't you think that original Kirk and Gorn battle was very much 80s WWE?
Yes, it was like slow and cartoony and didn't really accomplish anything, but somehow oddly compelling. Yeah. Mysterious Ann, of course, says Mysterious Walter is a viewer under 30, of course. And JD says, isn't the first time you do anything the last time you do that for the first time? Yeah, it is. It is. This is a really profound podcast.
I think that's just like a polite way to say, Mike, you're an idiot, which I guess that tracks.
Yeah, well,
because I was the one waxing like, Keith, this is the end of my first watch of Deep Space Nine. It's the last time I'll ever watch it for the first time, which felt so profound at the time. And JD's like, yo, dude, today's the last day. It's going to be today, too, so.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Yeah, well, the philosophers of Keith and Mike watch Deep Space Nine, if philosophy is a struggle as much as it is anything else. My aunt works for a lawyer at one of the big firms, and he has box seats for the Astros games. And when he can't go, he often offers them to my aunt, and she has taken some of us with her from time to time. So Mike was on the TV. We did you have that screenshot? You want to put it up?
That's all right.
All right. The delta of the butt crack is the kind of insight that brings people back to you two. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're not afraid to go to those places.
I mean,
Oh, you should be. Yeah.
I very much am. It's a grim place. Keith, I knew exactly what song you were going for with the ba-dum-bum.
No chance.
Thank you, JD. Thank you for having my back, even though.
But not too low on the back.
No. Stay north of the Delta. Stay out of the. You want to be upstream in the watershed.
You definitely want to be a Union soldier when dealing with Keith's back. You definitely don't want to be fighting for the South, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it's swampy down there. So, so Keith, you ask who has the shrine, the Ferengi Bank Shrine. Well, I asked, and I knew JD would know.
JD is just burning the shit out of us this week, and we deserve it.
I mean, no, he's hitting us with facts, and we asked for facts.
We did.
So, who has it? Every person who bought the Ferengi Bank that came out in 1995, because it's literally just that spray-painted gold. So if you hop onto eBay and then visit a Home Depot, you too can have that shrine. And look, going to Home Depot, buying some cheap crap, spray painting it gold, is also now how we decorate the Oval Office. In defense of... That's literally what it is.
Well, you also got to pave the rose garden, buddy.
Yeah,
you're supposed to have roses? Slap some concrete on there, baby. Call it a day.
Yeah, it's got a big flag, though. And no vaccines. So, in the defense of the dumbness, the color of the wall moment is literally my favorite moment. I can't help but laugh at it every time. I'm with you. Now, that Klingon ship was originally built for all good things. See? I was wrong. And then was introduced as Gowron's new ship in season 4. I thought it might have been that. I just didn't remember. So I don't know if this is hindsight on this episode, but I really do enjoy it. It's a really easy, nice watch, and I like it. It's actually an easy 70 self-sealing stem bolts for me. I think JD and our vibe. It's like, it's harmless. It's fun. It's whatever. It happens. Now, the real thing here, with what Keith said, this was enough of the mirror universe. It has run its course. Agreed. Onagata, new patron, welcome. 81 says, the delta of your butt crack and the watershed before it feeds into the river. Priceless, yes. The mic packs should have cleaning priority. See, I agree.
That's why you always, and that's another thing you check, right? When you want to make sure you got your ditty bag, because the ditty bags, everybody's undies get washed together and so it's not uncommon for you to unfortunately get someone else's ditty bag back. And if you're like me and you like to get dressed at the last possible second before the show, like some people like to get ready. My wife likes to get ready really early and just like be zen before the show because she's a professional.
I'm with Jen.
Yeah. I like to wait until like places and I'm like, okay, I'll put my clothes on as fast as I can now. When you do that, you run the risk of putting on someone else's underwear, which is bad. Or having someone else's mic pack in your butt crack, which is bad. So
and for those counting at home, ditty bag is just sort of like a mesh zip-up bag that you put your unmentionables in to keep them separate from everyone else.
Turns out to be a very unfortunate moniker, but also pretty apt.
Well, as long as it's not a duty bag, that's all I care about.
I'm just saying it's like a freak off. Every show's a ditty freak off if you get dressed too late.
Ew. Casey Alexander, who probably going to decline his patronage moving forward, says, to answer your question, because we asked last week, I do have a degree in music education.
This is
awesome. I have a minor in music history and a minor in compositional music theory. I don't work in music education, though. I like paying my bills more than I like teaching music. Oh, boy.
Nailed it.
Yeah, Casey, buddy. You and I have some overlap in experience.
Yeah.
'Cause I also got a music degree.
A lot of pieces of paper on the wall.
It looks beautiful on the wall. It has paid for it hasn't paid for the frame that it's in. But a minor in compositional music theory.
That's pretty awesome.
I could nerd out about that for a very long time. That's as somebody who loves music theory and composition. Like that, the intersection there, it's great.
I have a friend whose cat's names are oh my god, I'm forgetting it now. Lydian and Phrygian, I believe. And I was like, that's pretty nerdy.
That's pretty nerdy. Yeah. That's a nerdy mode to be in. To this episode, at least at this point, I was done with the mirror universe. The entire episode it also felt like Armin Shimmerman was done with it too. I really liked the first one. It was dark, intriguing, and it left you feeling like there was a story there. By this point, it felt like it was taking away from the main story. I wanted a good appetizer for the push to the entree, and instead I got a gas station egg salad sandwich. Ugh. Except at least the gas station sandwich would have you thinking about it tomorrow. Well, it's leaving your body in one direction or another.
So funny these people are.
They're so much funnier than us. Someday we need to take an episode and just let the patrons talk, and then we'll comment on it. That'd be fun. All right, let's get into Field of Fire, shall we? So this aired on February 10th, 1999, the cold winter of 99. The top song continued to be, Michael. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, baby, I wish we didn't have to see so many Ezri episodes. At least make them interesting, but this one, I guess, ain't bad. Now someone steal my money. All right, I thought I had to get something Britney Spears in there.
Oh no, that's just sad
the cutting social commentary people come here for.
Oh boy,
hot Britney Spears takes.
Whew. Here's the Britney Spears take that surprised me that I just learned while doing the research for this. Hit Me Baby One More Time only spent 2 weeks at the top of the charts. I would have thought that song was the top for a much longer time, because it feels like to me it had a much bigger cultural impact.
I feel like that's because you watched the video so many times, probably.
I certainly did not. She was like 16 when she did that video.
I believe Hit Me Baby One More Time was like when she had decided to like make her image no more Disney and become like sexy girl now.
Yeah, her parents made her. Yeah. But anyway, that song feels like a bigger part of our culture than just 2 weeks at the top.
Well, you don't have to be number one to be culturally impactful.
Yeah, we should try it sometime.
Yeah, we have to compare and contrast.
Yeah, exactly. The top movie had a great deal less cultural impact, because I still to this day do not realize that this movie exists. It was the movie Message in a Bottle. Kevin Costner, Robin Wright, and Paul Newman. Like a romance movie?
I don't know. It's an excuse to use a Sting song?
I have literally never heard that. Mike, because I certainly wasn't watching Message in a Bottle. I was probably not listening to Hit Me Baby One More Time at music school. What was on TV tonight?
Nothing of note, Keith, other than we were getting the first season of Charmed. Was slowly building out its first season and gaining that cult audience. Never was into Charmed, but it's still syndicated, and it was a huge hit on the C-Dub. So, yeah, we were beginning the Charmed-verse.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, like a Buffy-like, but more soap opera-y.
It felt like Buffy light.
Yeah.
And like...
They were like, let's like water down the sci-fi elements and make it a little bit more like...
Make it dumber.
Party of Five meets Buffy. But I don't know. I've also never watched it. I just know I'm a huge fan of Alyssa Milano, so I like the idea of her having a vehicle. I just never watched it.
All right. Well, there you go. There's some lukewarm takes.
On shows we never watched.
Takes on a show we've never watched. Yeah. So on a show that I've watched and Mike will watch. We will get to this episode in about 4 years. On Voyager, we were watching the episode Bliss, in which they discover good news. Or is it?
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Oh, snap. All right, so Field of Fire was directed by Tony Dow. This is Tony's only episode of Trek of all time.
Okay.
It was written by Robert Hewitt Wolfe, who we haven't seen. Last wrote Call for Arms, season finale of season 5. Hasn't been around for a while, but came back. I believe Wolfe was working on Voyager, but had an idea for Deep Space Nine and came in here and wrote this one. All right, let's do some trivia, shall we? Now, Keith, waste your time.
What?
With trivial trivia. So, Ilario's last exchange with Dax before he gets murdered is a play on the apocryphal exchange between British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and Bessie Braddock, member of the Parliament. Ms. Braddock reportedly told Churchill, "Sir, you are drunk." To which Churchill replied, "Bessie, my dear, you are ugly. And what's more, you are disgustingly ugly. By tomorrow I shall be sober, and you will still be disgustingly ugly."
No, this one was a much more pleasant exchange.
Yeah, that was that sounds something like a different leader would say. This is the third appearance of the former Dax host Joran Ballard, a sociopathic serial murderer. In each instance, he is played by a different actor.
Ben Sisko.
By Jeff McBride, Avery Brooks, and now by Lee McCloskey.
I don't remember the first instance. I remember the one where we're doing the ceremony with Ben.
Here, I'm going to help you remember. Remember where, like, the Cirque du Soleil masks?
Oh, right, yes. One of the worst.
That was so silly.
I would say that this episode suffers a little of that hokiness, but not as bad.
It's, you know what, it suffers, and this is not a critique of the actor himself, because I thought he did a very creditable job.
For sure.
This comes down to Star Trek's
horror take.
Frequent mistake of casting bland leading man and leading women actors in character actors roles.
Yeah, that's interesting take.
And it's just like, this is a role that should be played by a character actor who can bring something super intense and saucy to it. And you cast like the guy who was the fourth runner-up for Riker,
right.
And it's just not his part. Just doesn't have it. So this is the first mention of a Bolian, Mike, having a wife and a co-husband, implying that many or all Bolians practice a form of polygamy. Awesome. This episode is directed by Tony Dow, who is better known as the actor who played Wallace Wally Cleaver on the classic sitcom Leave It to Beaver.
I think he just passed away, actually.
Oh, really?
Like recently. What's his name?
Tony Dow.
D-O-W?
Lots of D-O-W, yeah. Lots of people from that show became directors later.
2022.
Okay, so, you know, what's yours?
July 27th, 2022. So we're
2022 is just now.
Yeah, it feels like
it's all the same. All right, our guest stars this week are Art Chudabala as Hector Ilario, Marty Rackham as Chulak, and Lee J. McCloskey as Joran Dax. You know who are all leading cast members in our heart, but have the talent, creativity, and depth of a character actor, Mike?
Keith, could it be the patrons?
Ooh, it sure could.
Who have a theme song that I've shut off because it's so loud, but maybe we'll try it again.
You know, you could just make it quieter.
Ryan Kimball, Beersock, Quarks Bar, Jamie Lubin, Jason Moe, Deborah. Thanks for joining us on the stream, Deborah. Peter Bank, Gala, Joshua Cronin, DC, Anton Thies and Mike, Andrew Hayes, Allen, and the mysterious household, Worf's Big Old Boot Shivs, Charles Babbage, John Kelly, Keith Blank, Casey Alexander, Harry Podhead, Carl Fisher, Alan Gerton, Deborah Scott, Trend, and Odo's Bucket. Lost Emu, Scotty B, Merritt Neath, Byron Woosley, Aroha, AI Sausage, Yum, Ben B, Brian from the video game Drive-By, Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky, YouTube viewer, Hibernation Pod, Miri Holcomb, Rogue Knight, Fedora the Explorer, JD Makes, Colin Dagan, thanks Fedora, Chris Mitchell, Frank Grinch, Pat, Joshua Cronin, Kevin Miles, Chancellor Jim.
Oh,
also,
wait,
Justine.
We have to add somebody to that.
Yeah, Justine.
Justine.
Thanks for bringing us stuff. You'll see that coming up soon on Look at my Star Trek toys. Engineer Maynard.
As soon as you upload it.
Jerome A. Gibson, it is. April Hayes. James Hubbard. Sanjay. Jamie Rayborn. Bolian for Soup. Chanel. Laura Morrison. Lutz Kremer. Wyatt Eldridge. Kevin Miles. Ryan Caputo. Old Guys Eating Oatmeal. You can join the team at patreon.com/KNN. Hold on, buddy. 100% uploaded it.
It is 100% out there.
Oh, well, that's weird. Oh, I think I did it to my channel. That's why.
You know what? Guys, you've never seen a production meeting happening while somebody is reading a list of nonsense names.
I definitely think they have.
That's probably true.
Many times, I think.
That's probably true. All right. Don't worry about that now, Mark. We're going to deal with that later. Why don't we hop into the screening room?
Yes, let's do that. Uploaded it to mine.
I mean, get yourself some clicks. My channel has like 60 subscribers. Like, I haven't uploaded anything in years, so. But luckily, our channel firing on all cylinders because we are here in the teaser for Field of Fire. And most of our heroes are in Quarks, celebrating the success of a very suspicious new guy that everyone seems to know well.
Does not bode well for the new guy.
Historians will know he's already gonna be... Hit the button.
Oh yeah, so awesome. You prepped for it? Give me,
Historians know already that he is gonna be...
Dead as hell.
He wants to hang out with Bashir and O'Brien. No way, buddy. So later that night, he is still drinking.
Everyone knows the Nintendo has 2 controllers, all right? So either pull up a chair, wait your turn, or you ain't coming in the holosuite.
100%. 100%.
Mom, I'm in here! Don't come in, Mom!
You know, one of the, it's not in my show, 10 Times I Should Have Known I Was Autistic, coming up November 4th in New York City. Get your tickets at autisticshow.com. It's not a story in there, but one time, I should have realized, because I had a drop-in from a mutual friend of ours during football day.
Oh, no.
He just like showed up at my apartment in Queens, like, hey man, can I come in? Like, hey, what's going on, bub? And I'm like, it's football day. Get out of my house. I think that's where I was feeling. I almost had a I literally had a meltdown. Anyway, later that night, he's still drinking with Kira and Ezri, and he is trashed. So Ezri helps him stumble home. They go to his quarters, and he tries to proposition Dex. I gotta appreciate the confidence for a red shirt guest star. Take your shot.
You know what? I thought, at least I don't think it crossed any lines. She came in, he shot his shot. They were out drinking, hanging out. She walked him up to his room. He wasn't like aggressive about it. He was standing far away. He mentioned how beautiful she was, and even when she politely declined,
he's like, no problem.
Hey, that's fine, but doesn't mean you ain't pretty.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't find that unreasonable.
Me neither.
She politely turns him. I mean, like, look, one of us has asked out Padme from Star Wars.
Also, hasn't literally everyone else on the station hit on her?
I mean, it seems like if she holds still for long enough, like, yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I couldn't help but notice how hot you are.
Yes.
I was about to get on this transport, but...
I noticed you existing in space, and I wanted to just, bother you.
That reminds me of that Christopher Guest incredible line in the first scene of Little Shop of Horror after they put Audrey in the Audrey 2 in the front window, and he just like busts through the door and he goes, "Excuse me, but I can't help but recognize that can't help but notice that strange and unusual plant in your window. What is it?" Great.
Yep. That's how this show treats Ezri. So she politely turns him down and leaves. The next morning, she wakes up with a hangover, and then she gets an emergency call because, shockingly, our suspiciously familiar new ensign is indeed...
dead as hell.
He has been shot.
He didn't even make it to the theme song, man.
No, he didn't get it. You know he wasn't going to make it out of the teaser? No way.
He got a lot of lines, though, and I would say, here's what I noticed, which I think is important for this character, who I think has been on the show before, by the way. Recognize him.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just like, I don't think he was playing this character, obviously, but I do recognize him. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up while you're talking.
Well, you know, sometimes it's cool to get a guest star, right, on a show like this.
Oh,
but usually you're in like a scene with like 2 other guest stars and like 1 main cast member. But he got to meet everybody, and then even in this scene where it's just his dead body, literally the whole cast is there. So he got to hang out at craft services with everybody.
The best.
So cool.
The absolute best. Like it's the perfect guest star. It's like memorable. You kick the story forward.
You
like
hit on Ezri.
I mean, it's great. So I'm looking up this. Dude, Mike, how did you freaking know this?
I wasn't the only one to recognize that. A couple other patrons did too. I
gave you credit for what?
No, I want to say I also recognized him from previous episodes.
He was an uncredited background actor as a cadet on the Valiant.
Yes, 100% yes.
Wow, well done, everybody.
Forget everything else, but
he also did an episode of West Wing, an episode of 6 Feet Under,
great show.
Grey's Anatomy, House. He was on the podcast All the Asians on Star Trek. That's a fun podcast.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and he was in Crash. All right, dude gets around.
I mean, they couldn't have picked a weirder dead pose than that. I was like, give him some sort of like he just died straight like a.
No, but Mike, here's the thing. Okay, Mike, so you're gonna be dead in this scene, so why don't you pick a pose
that you can lay for the next 12 hours?
Keep in mind, we will be filming this scene for the next 2 days.
Do you want to know? I'm gonna be 100% here. Why I would have picked a different pose?
What's that?
Because if I'm wearing a uniform like that, I would be self-conscious that I'd have a little peenie pop. Like that you see like some... some bolt.
You afraid you wouldn't be dick as hell? Well, here's the...
I don't want any pixel peepers looking for my...
Package?
For my point and click.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You want to have the... Because, like, look, this is... you talk to anybody who has been naked on stage, right? You do the show...
Full Monty?
So what's the... Full,
yeah.
Well, but like much more so, the baseball show.
Damn Yankees?
No.
Yeah.
The naked baseball show. Mm-hmm. I saw it. It was so good.
Oh my god, I can't think of it. The play.
I'm typing it. Yeah, Take Me Out. I just typed into Google, and unfortunately, I am signed in. Naked baseball play, and and immediately got to Take Me Out. Great play. I saw the original production. It was fantastic. Anyway, so they have to be naked for a good portion of that play, and there was a lot of sort of under 25s earmuffs, sort of dickography. Mm-hmm. Because you want to have the appropriately sized appendage standing in front of a Broadway stage. So, you're right. You don't want it to be excited, but you also don't want to be cold. You know what I mean? So you want to have find the happy medium. Like, what do you have to do to be?
It's like when you're going through
place?
puberty and you go into that your first physical of like having puberty. Like, God forbid you have a female doctor and you're like, yo, I'm a little nervous about how this is gonna go.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that is Mike's fear about playing a corpse.
Doesn't matter how old you are in your life, you're always worried about how your dick's gonna look. That's true. I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. It's always a consideration. You get a costume and you're like, is my penis gonna be comfortable for the whole show now? Like, what kind of underwear do I have to wear in this? I was always thinking about it. And can I pee? That's the only other thing I think about.
I've thought about that part. To be perfect, to keep it 100, I have never once thought about how my dick looks in a costume.
No, not how my dick looks, but like, can you see my dick? Like, when I sit down, are people am I sitting on a stool? And it's like, because I work a lot of small theaters. Turns out I'm not worried about the Broadway stage.
Oh, well, then your appendage matches the theater. It's perfect.
Oh, boy.
It's in proportion.
Yeah, I'm like rocking a 99-seater. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep going. This is the second screenshot.
Equity doesn't care. It's below the equity's radar.
SBT.
Sorry, everybody.
One theater nerd out there is like, this is the best pod ever.
What a hilarious...
What a great gag.
I once blew out the crotch of my tuxedo pants when doing plaid in like the first lunge. You don't leave the stage.
I broke so many pants in this one plaid I did that they just gave me a pair of like elastic, basically spandex. And so Sparky walks on stage. Everybody's in a perfect tuxedo, and then Sparky's just wearing like yoga pants, basically.
He's basically wearing a Strange New Worlds pants.
Yes, it's crazy.
Oh, wow. Anyway, I apologize for the last 15 minutes of dick talk.
Yeah, you might want to put that in the notes.
We have 15 minutes of dick talk after...
I just mean like a chapter, but to get past that.
I think by now...
Yeah, you're right. So wait, so Ben's going to be in this episode?
Know us by now. No, he's not.
I was excited for like a minute.
Anyway, in Act 1... apparently, he's been killed by an old-timey bullet. But nobody can figure out how. There's no gunshot residue anywhere. O'Brien explains that the bullet came from the prototype of a Starfleet weapon, and they were designed to function when there were energy dampening fields. So like, an actual gun like today. And they assume the first of many gigantic leaps in assumption that it has to be a Starfleet officer, because that's the only person who would get access to the transporter patterns for that gun. Forgetting that, I don't know if we have like main characters who steal stuff constantly, and our security has been proven to be so incredibly tight here on the station.
Well, not only that, but later they mention that they're replicated, right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, in 2025 here, you can 3D print a gun. So
yes.
If I guarantee there's a dark net in the future, and you can get the blueprints for anything you want.
I'm sure it already exists.
So I think, Keith, we can officially say,
right. And and I get it from a storytelling perspective. We need to, because like the mystery itself is kind of ham-fisted, we need to really shorthand and narrow down quickly and efficiently, but it makes no sense that they would just immediately take off the table anyone who's not Starfleet as a suspect here. Later, Bashir, O'Brien, and Dax discuss the fact that they didn't really know the guy that well, and they wish they'd taken him to the holosuite, but there's only 2 controllers on the Nintendo.
Also another weird, reaching back to last week slightly, like almost willing nod to the fact of the trope, right? That we're gonna kill off a character, they're gonna try to force us to care about by having our main characters tell us about their backstory. Right?
We're gonna talk about how much we like this guy.
Yeah, and how many brothers and sisters did he have, and then so this scene, whilst it's doing that thing, also is sort of self-referential in the fact that they're like, man, I guess we didn't really know much about him, and you're like, yeah, neither do we.
Well, but I do think that lends a little bit more credibility than they were like, oh, it's like he's been my best friend for 20 years, and we've never seen them before. As we go back to the practice where all of their best friends stumbled in having murdered somebody.
Well, and they do the other thing because Dax is that invested, and I couldn't really get a gauge on whether they're invested because they were so close or because Ben gives the ultimate, it's like, how's your forensic pathology? You're in charge of this.
I bet she feels guilt.
A little bit, yeah.
Because she was there like 5, if she had, and she literally says, had I stayed for 10 more minutes, he would have been alive, or they just would have shot him 10 minutes later. But in her head, she doesn't know that.
As long as they don't they didn't like smile and laugh and enjoy the intercourse, they probably would have been okay.
There you go. There you go. I mean, I get a lot of the laughter.
Keith would never be shocked because Keith's intimacy is very straight-faced with no enjoyment.
Probably some paperwork.
You're not in danger. Odo's letting you know.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Dax Bashir then further discuss at his casket side. They're both freaked out that somebody was murdered in cold blood. Which I sort of get. We're sort of in this utopian sort of world that in our world we have war and people die constantly. But like just flat out murder is not really part of the culture as much. But Dax has a much more familiar relationship with murder because of her previous host, Duran, who murdered 3 people and was a member of Cirque du Soleil. Dexter monologues for a second.
They're hungry like the wolf, you know?
Then she has a nightmare. It's a little unclear, but she feels guilty and weirdly connected to the killer. Then,
if they ever change the frame rate, Keith, we know it's either Star Trek doing horror or a dream
flashback
sequence.
on the practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we are doing slow motion, but we didn't use a slow motion camera because it's the 90s. And then, so I'm
Bill
just gonna
Skarsgård?
I wish. So this is what I voice memoed the notes while I was watching. And this is what came in when I tried to say Duran. It said, Ed Sheeran shows up in her dream. He was the composer, and he plays some creepy Nightmare on Elm Street music on a weird-looking piano.
Well, I mean, I could see Ed Sheeran doing it.
The actor is about as creepy as Ed Sheeran.
Look at you.
But he offers to help play the role of Hannibal Lecter to track down the killer. She wakes up and is called by Cisco, and of course, there's been another murder. A woman has also been shot in the same way as the first guy. They didn't know each other, so there's no connection between the first 2 murders, in the victims, that is. We clearly have a serial killer picking off rando people. Odo points out that there are over 900 Starfleet officers on the station, which is a ton more than there used to be. Somebody smart, I'm assuming JD, didn't in like season 2 we say there were only like fewer than 400 people on the entire station itself?
Died in the same stickman pose.
Well, she didn't have to worry about her dick man. So, but I believe at some point earlier we mentioned there were only like 30 some odd Starfleet officers on the station, only 400 people. So, but we're in a war, so obviously we're gonna bulk up the number of people we have.
Well, they heard the Ezri's on board and they were like, get me a transport.
Yep, there it is. So Cisco then asked Dax about her forensic psychology. Meanwhile, O'Brien and Bashir discuss why somebody would use a rifle. Bashir talks about Davy Crockett doing trick shots and gives O'Brien the idea. The rifle has a micro transporter attached to it, and it beams the bullet from the rifle into the quarters of the victim as it's being fired. And this is the part of this episode that's so freaking cool.
Yeah, it's one of the best sci-fi kind of thoughts we've had in a long time.
Like the ability to beam a moving bullet it's so smart and so cool, and when I remember this episode, that's the part that I remember about it, and the sort of like PP cam that it has, which the technology of the murder weapon is so cool and so interesting.
I wish they
remember
had
the episode
connected
is
the dots, right? I wish they had done, you know how in Strange New Worlds we did the holodeck episode, and then they're like, you know what? This technology is too dangerous or not ready for prime time, so we got to shelve it. I wish we'd had that connective scene where we find out, because they kind of reference it when they're talking about they decommissioned the weapon. I wish we had the beat where they're like, it's too dangerous, this tech is too advanced, so we had the Starfleet decided to put it aside.
Well, because the ethics of it it really has no purpose beyond assassination, right? Because, you know, you're just taking somebody out from a distance. It also has like phenomenally gigantic privacy concerns. But the tech itself, so cool.
Yeah, forget the bullet. Just the peephole alone.
Yeah. Like the whole thing, but also like thinking about it in canon, it's overpowered in our world. Because if we had this, we would be able to solve like 50% of all of our episodes using this, either the assassination or just the pee-pee thing. Like,
now let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a Trek question. You might not know the answer, and but this is hard to wrap my brain around. Like, there are some specifics about the holodeck that always break my brain a little bit. But here we go. Here is an advanced weapon, right? It doesn't pew pew. So like, there's something in this weapon that is advanced as far as targeting, as far as the transporter, something in the weapon, right? Can you just replicate that? Like, can a replicator create advanced technology?
That's what it did. So the replicator is separate from the holodeck.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying, like, there are parts of Trek that are confusing.
Yeah, so think of the replicator more like a 3D printer. And so you download the patterns of whatever it is that you want, whether it's food or whether it's a device or whatever. Yeah, you just
the patterns of like a highly classified Romulan like cloaking weapon that we don't even have the tech for. If we get those plans, we have the tech now.
That's right.
So why are we having any sort of war? Shouldn't this be just a war of like digital spies stealing plans and stuff? Like, the firewalls in Starfleet must be huge. Why the hell are our passwords Cisco 128?
123. Yeah. It's like, definitely a question.
So that makes in the face of that makes Rom leaving his data pad last week somewhere absolutely insane.
Yeah,
like court-martial offense.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he kept some classified documents, and maybe in the pooper. You shouldn't do that.
Oh, I mean, hide him in the pooper at this point.
I mean, not that pooper. Anyway. Anyway, concept is awesome. And O'Brien demonstrates, and because he's able to replicate a second copy of the gun.
I love that they do Gallagher here.
Oh, for sure.
Or like Mr. Wizard or whatever, Bill Nye.
Well, it's sort of Mythbusters mixed with Gallagher minus the racism. Yeah. So he demonstrates this by blowing up a purple melon from the other room. It looks like a giant like grape, like Mike and Ike, and I wanted to eat it. Very cool concept. So Colum does the pretty hilarious take when he comes in and he looks genuinely surprised that the plan worked. Which is funny considering that had it not, he might have murdered somebody himself.
But also, he does perfectly capture the appeal of Mythbusters, where you're like, you know what? Doesn't matter how old you get, blowing shit up and doing science can be awesome.
For sure. But I bet that was a Colum joke to be like, oh my god, it worked. Because I can't imagine it was written to be quite so like surprised that he didn't kill anybody. Also, sort of like in real life, misunderstanding of how dangerous real bullets are. Because like, yeah, that would go through the melon and then bounce around in that room until it hit somebody.
I mean, these are people who take their lives into their hands every day they step into a transporter. Like, it can go wrong so fast and has that, like, I would never... you know what? I guess that's the same difference as, like, getting in a car. You should never drive. It's so dangerous. But we do it.
Fair enough. So they realize the bullet could have been fired from anywhere in the station. Dax continues to research, but can't find any connection between the victims. Late at night, we see Morn and a super hot Dabo lady. Good for him, there's hope for us all. Then Dax runs into Worf, who has been following her to keep her safe. And instead of weird and controlling, she finds it charming.
I don't think it's weird and controlling.
He says so. I forget what he says. It's like, you don't have the right to risk yourself or something like that.
Yeah, but he's just working through his feelings, man. I think it's cute. It did, however, that scene
reminded me that Worf is on the show, and it would be great to have a show about
and
characters
that he's still
that
dealing
we know.
like he's still dealing with he still loves a portion of Dax, right?
Yes.
And I think that's awesome and feels, I think, a genuine affection for his new colleague. I think there's a combination of things. They're able to accomplish, I think, a lot for the Worf character in like the 3 lines he's had this season here.
Like
Recently,
literally the 3 lines he's had this season.
But you know what it did also, and it's hard, and I don't put this at Nicole, who I think is doing great work with what she's given, which I don't think has been great, right? I haven't talked about, and I'll save it, but we were talking about Mirror Universe fatigue last week. I have serious, what is this Ezri arc fatigue? This is like the 3rd episode in the last 5 that is
Third
like
in a row.
Ezri specific, and they're trying to cram so much, like 7 seasons worth of character into 3 episodes, and it's not her. She's doing as best she can, Nicole. So this is not about her.
Not at all. No.
But this scene made me miss Terry and Jadzia very badly because I could see her in this episode, and it is a different episode.
Yeah, I think that
Well, she's not a counselor, but you know.
So you know, in professional wrestling,
Here,
right?
Nick?
Yeah. So when they have a new character that the company really wants to be a big main eventer, wants to be the star, and you overexpose that person to try to make the audience be excited about them.
You push them
and
away.
This happened to The Rock, it happened to Cena, it happened to Roman
Stone
Reigns.
Cold, yeah.
If you push them down the audience's throat, they will turn on you, and you will start to get resentment because, like, you are telling me I like this character and I don't like them yet. And they are over, it's called a push in professional wrestling. They are way over pushing Ezri at this point.
Okay, so she's making lobster bisque. There's a ceremony.
Yeah. Okay, moving me forward. So a Worf offers to help, but she says nobody can help her. Obviously, this is setting up her realizing that she needs to accept Joran's help. But why exactly can nobody else help? This is another wormhole that I have here. So
yes.
we like.
I made it, so let's use it.
We sort of get the idea that Odo is running a concurrent and separate investigation happening because they find the guy who like had downloaded the transporter or the replicator codes. But like from here moving forward, Ezri goes completely off the reservation. No, that's not a phrase I would use anymore. But goes completely
rogue.
Like rogue. She goes completely rogue and is like what is she doing? Why is she working alone? Why isn't she asking for help? Why isn't she communicating with the other people doing investigation? Why is she the only person investigating?
So, though it's not satisfying, the episode makes an attempt to address that. She has some sort of embarrassment to admit that the Duran thing, that the Duran persona is coming to the forefront, even though during part of the investigation includes Sisko, whom she knows has had an intimate experience with Duran.
We all know he's there.
Yeah, so in fact, you could even say it's an additional wormhole that none of them have asked her, hey, have you spoken with Duran, who might have some insight in serial killing? Have you Chianti'd it, you know?
Yeah. It's just her just doing this whole thing solo. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, that doesn't even get to like the giant thing for me, the giant wormhole, which I will address, but I'll might as well drop it here.
Right.
I don't feel as though the Duran insight actually helped in any way. Like her being inside his head is mutually exclusive to her behind the gun. Had any of them just kind of like started scanning and then looking, like she found the picture that it was seek and find. I mean, anybody with that clue, if Odo had that clue, would have put it together. He's supposed to be a genius investigator. So I don't see the insight of having Duran close talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, the steps of the mystery feel like needed a rewrite. Like what's the A to B to C of this mystery, of this investigation? We were very excited about the Duran of it all, but we kind of, and the gun and all that, we kind of forgot like why are we, like what is the motive here? What is the investigatory thing?
Well, because we sidetrack into an episode that's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lamb works because you have 2 hours of and it's long enough for Anthony Hopkins to get into Clarice's head and thus our head. We don't have that here. At no point do I actually think he's going to convince her to be a murderer or a serial killer, or that it's false stakes, and so it's no drama. Now, it's yeoman's work by the score department, by the blocking, the direction and the blocking. I think they have him close talking, and that's really hard to block and to frame and to have the camera moves. All of that they're doing the best they can, but I don't believe it. Right? It's not going to happen. So
it's neither. It's not a compelling character dynamic, nor is it a compelling mystery.
Or what if, because they go through this whole showing us the soup and the whatever, the, what do you call it?
The ceremony.
The ceremony.
That she does.
Maybe he's trying to stay. Maybe he's going to try to manipulate it to like flip and become the president. Give me something like that, because I can believe that is an actual threat. But this is weird. If it's a soup, you took like a couple of decent ingredients, threw it in the soup, forgot to season it. No, I'm not making an analogy. I mean, there's a literal soup.
No, there's a soup. Yeah.
In the ceremony.
Yeah, it's just there's a potential here for something interesting, but it's cast wrong and it's written wrong. Anyway, so Dax does the ceremony to unlock the ghost of Duran. He appears as a physical hallucination to her, but is invisible to everyone else. He wants to get her to put herself into the killer's shoes to understand why the killer is doing this. So he has her hold the weapon. What
I thought was going to happen at this point is that he wanted her to become the killer so that he could enjoy it, but he's not. He's trying to get her to enjoy it, and there's a disconnect. Yeah.
Why is he trying to get her to enjoy it?
Right.
That's right. His motivations are not clear. Like, they thought that, well, he's a serial killer, so he's kind of weird, was enough. And you
serial killer would be one thing, but they also make him a sociopath because it's random people. He's like, oh, it'd be fun to put a knife in his side. And it's like at least Hopkins had a very specific motivation and reason and you know what I mean? It's like,
well, yeah, you're going for affect, not motivation.
Yes.
And you need to have both.
Well, it's impossible for an actor too, right? That's why you're saying a character actor could at least give a spin to it.
That's why it's not playing. It's not playing because he has nothing to play.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it is. So he has her hold the weapon and put on the visor, which allows her to apparently spy on anyone, anywhere, despite this being a colossal privacy violation. He's about, he's about as threatening as a manager at Best Buy who wants to know if you have any questions. But he tries to get her in the headspace of a serial killer, not a warrior, which is an interesting distinction. But again, we sort of allude to it, but we don't explore it.
Thank God this guy was just drinking coffee and not trying to relax.
Right. And she literally peeps on people in their quarters. He tries to get her to pull the trigger on some random guy.
And they draw this scene out, and I'm like, she's not going to shoot she's not going to just make her a sociopathic murderer in this episode.
And again, what's the motivation? Is he getting off on killing? Is he like, I want one more kill, so I'm going to manipulate this person into it? Okay, tell that story.
Jerry O'Connell?
Exactly. He shows up on Star Trek. But she seems weirdly tempted for a second. Which is really strange, especially considering she did not know that the gun wasn't loaded, apparently.
None of it makes sense.
It really doesn't. So they go to the first victim's quarters to see if they can find anything else they missed.
You know what? Let's change that. It's not that that's what bothers me is that it doesn't make sense, because there's plenty of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's unseasoned because it's unmotivated.
Yeah.
It's just sort of things happening as opposed to anybody trying to do anything. That's writing 101. You've got to have people have motivations.
I want to really shout out this scene with Quark because it's like I said before. Everything Keith and I are saying has to do with the writing and really the writing. Sort of the plot. And like I said, the blocking and the framing of the shots, really great. The direction is pretty great for the other characters. Like, they're obviously not going to do a weird holograph. Like, he's there, right? He's not there, but he's there, and we're not going to do any special effects. So Armin here has to completely ignore him. There's the timing of the dialogue has to be just right. He has to stand so close to Ezri that's really hard to shoot and to block so they don't bump into each other and look clumsy. So all of that the execution is actually pretty great here from a technical level.
You know, it reminds me of, I think that they did a great job here. Reminds me, I saw a TikTok video of a scene from Dexter when you don't play the inner monologue. And it is so funny because, like, Mike asked me a question.
Hey, Keith, how's your day going today? Yeah.
Just fine. Because the audience is hearing, I thought about stabbing him in the face, but I didn't. There's these huge, weird pauses in the dialogue.
For me, that reminds me of, so done some difficult roles. There have been challenges in roles, right? Whether it be from an ego standpoint, like being naked, right? Or having to kiss Keith. Or from a technical challenge where it's just so much to memorize in a short period of time. But the most difficult thing I've ever had to do is, because timing is such an important part of things, doing a production. So I was doing a production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and learning the show and the timing of the show and performing it 7 times a week in that timing. But then once a week at midnight, have the midnight shows where part of that show is people call out a whole other set of lines.
Oh, God.
And so it's not just the dialogue changes because you have to hold for their lines, but you also have to hold, the fourth wall still exists, and you have to so the timing changes entirely. It's not the lines, it's the timing once a week. And it's a brain screw. It's just a completely brain screw. So that's what this scene reminded me of, is the Rocky Horror Show midnight performances where someone's shouting out and you have to wait but be in the scene. Luckily, that's a comedy. So,
well, yeah. It's interesting though, because that you make me think about that Dexter scene, which is it seems so silly when you hear it without the monologue. But also, imagine how difficult that must have been to film.
Right.
Because you must have a third person there reading the inner monologue aloud so you can get the timing right on when you continue the dialogue.
I mentioned that to the patrons in this episode as well, because since we don't think that Keith and I have explained that we don't think the script has given them the stakes for, or the value for, the heightened sense of horror or suspense in this episode. But imagine at least the music is informing that. Imagine filming it with this dude over your shoulder, completely dry, doing this stuff. God bless them. It's hard.
I mean, you know what you call that? Acting.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So he points at a framed picture in the victim's quarters of he and his friend smiling. They then go to the second victim's quarters and find another picture of her smiling. It's a pretty cool effect of having it be a moving video in a picture frame, which at that point was like full-on sci-fi.
And now it's $30 at Kohl's.
You can literally pick it up at CVS. But neither of them make the connection yet.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's pictures.
Chekhov's pictures. Then Starfleet officer is chased through quarks, and Dax tackles him to the floor, then grabs a knife and is about to stab him.
Grabs a butter knife. Let's make sure that's...
I mean, she could have scraped him real bad.
She could have corn on the cobbed him.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he would have had to have some Neosporin.
I love this scene, because Ben's like, Ezri,
did you just want to murder somebody? Naturally, Cisco has questions. She does not tell him that she has been hanging out with dollar store Hannibal Lecter.
Such a missed opportunity here, right? If anybody's going to understand, it's him.
Of course.
So weird. They never explain why she feels weird about it.
Her motivations for keeping all this secret, the whole thing is nonsense.
Now, Keith, what if he just walked into the... What if we just have him walk into the elevator?
This is exactly what I mean about, like, they don't actually do any investigating. They just, like, hit the next plot point and arrive at it. It's the same thing with O'Brien figuring out there's a microtransporter on the gun. He just,
Also,
like, we don't investigate. He just, like, aha, it's this.
Well, it's actually, like... I don't want to belabor this, but... I actually think it's a really bad take. Like, there are certain things you explain away with, well, we don't have a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
But, like, let's actually look at the ramifications of what we're saying here. The dude walks on, right? They have like a loose working theory here. Dude walks on the elevator. Deranged sociopath says, this is the guy. No evidence, no proof, no anything, just vibes. It's a hunch. They then don't investigate. They go about trying to prove it's this guy, which is everything we don't want to be happening that happens all the time with our police and our investigation, right? Like, pick a suspect, make him guilty. Now, luckily, this is the guy. But it's actually worse than no investigation. It's weird guy found guy, and now we're going to prove it's him. Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to not be him, highlighting the point that, oh, we're going to have to do some investigation. I can't trust this unreliable narrator.
There's no investigation here. We go from A to Z in just like an aha, with not motivated by anything. In fact, the aha is
right here, Keith.
Yeah, there it is. Ooh, I see it.
Yeah.
So apparently the guy she was about to kill wasn't the murderer after all. He was just a gun collector. Very strange that he would run. This is another part here.
Why didn't the ceremony work? She didn't have time because she didn't drink the soup, or like she's making him go away. No, then he's right next to her again.
I think you've got missing screenshots, buddy.
Yeah,
that's like the end of the episode.
No, it's not. She does she decides, I don't want you on my side anymore. She tries to make him go away, and then all of a sudden he's back again. I think I think they're trying to infer that she didn't finish.
She didn't drink the soup. Didn't get the goo right. Anyway, so this is another wormhole that I have. So the guy that she tackled and was going to bother with a butter knife was just a gun collector, and so he clearly like stole the replicator patterns, like you said. But very strange that he would run from security as opposed to just talk to them.
Well, I mean, he did steal I'm assuming are very highly classified documents.
It's classified, sure, but you're on a space station.
Yeah, where are you gonna go?
What is running gonna do for you?
I don't know.
Like, it's not Starfleet at all. It doesn't make any sense. But we also, as I said before, it seems like Odo must be running a parallel investigation to have hunted this guy down. It's very strange that they're not in communication with each other.
Well, I guess it also raises the question is how's Odo so wrong?
He wasn't wrong. He just wasn't he was doing actual investigation. We didn't have time.
Yeah, they don't explain why. Well, you said this already. I don't want to belabor it, but like, why does she need to discover her by herself? Wouldn't it be helpful if she brought all this evidence to them?
Why is she? Let's say her role is as a forensic psychologist. Mm-hmm. The forensic psychologist does not investigate the murder. The forensic psychologist consults with the person who was investigating the murder.
Yeah, like Angela Lansbury, right? Jessica Fletcher was annoying, but she was always sharing information. Like she wasn't ever playing it coy. But Columbo, he was always working an angle. Like, yeah, she's more Columbo here than Jessica Fletcher for no reason.
It's so weird. So, anyway, look out. A bullion has been killed, our third victim. And she points out that he has a wife and a co-husband. Cool. Bullion thruple. Why not? So this is when
she said I thought she said one of their co-husbands. I think he's got a bunch. I think they're like fully polygamous.
Could be more. Yeah. Could be more. This is
Jen's
when
got her hands full with just one husband. I don't know how anybody could handle multiple, but
I mean,
Wow.
truly, I can't handle just me and my cat.
God bless.
So, this is when they finally realized that the bullion was also smiling in his photograph. That's the connection. It's the killer who hates laughter and emotion.
Now,
Go
do you know who
ahead.
else could have figured that out without the help of a mass murderer? ChatGPT, Keith. If I put all the evidence in the rooms into ChatGPT, it would have been like, hey, the pictures that they're both smiling.
Yeah, all three of them are.
Yeah.
But here is when we make gigantic leap number 15. They immediately leap from, they're all smiling. The person doesn't like
hate
smiling people, so therefore it must be a Vulcan. As opposed to any number of any other people who might also have a reason for not liking smiling. They just again,
like grumpy people.
I mean, me if I haven't slept well. I mean, so we immediately make the leap. It has to be a Federation officer.
Oh, it has to be this
right?
guy.
It has to be Starfleet, and then it has to be a Vulcan. Just why? Who knows? But they're right. But it has to be. It's an investigatory leap that has not justified by anything. And she figures out that the Vulcan must have had some sort of traumatic event, and that laughter is mocking him. Computer tells her there are 48 Vulcans on the station, so instead of telling anybody or asking for help, she works alone to narrow down the suspects. I mean, they could have hey, Odo, I think it might be a Vulcan. Maybe put your entire security team and your incredible skills as an investigator to help me narrow down these suspects. Makes no sense.
Or just ask the computer. I don't know.
Yeah, that too. So then, as they're trying to narrow down the Vulcans, they run into one on the elevator.
Gotta be him.
He gives him the eyeball and can instinctually tell that this is the killer. So, she continues to not tell anybody and researches on her own, because we don't want help. It's not like it's life or death. She finds the traumatic event. Most of this Vulcan's friends and colleagues were killed on a ship. So, once again, instead of going to ask for help to arrest this guy, she goes and grabs the gun and spies on the shooter in his quarters, thus invalidating the investigation, because that's a Sixth Amendment violation, which would have tossed out any information that she got out of this. So the Vulcan murderer would have gotten away with all the murderers because they couldn't use this evidence against him, because that is a Sixth Amendment violation.
But here, I need to know, okay, well, Keith is worrying about the amendments. I'm worried about...
Cute, right?
I get the tech, right? I get it.
Yeah.
And I get here that he figures out computery that she's onto him. Okay? That all tracks. But how the hell... if I had a weapon that could see through all the walls, just scanning around, there's thousands of people on that ship, right? On that station. How does he know where she's at? How does he know where to aim?
Well, that one's easy, because the computer will tell you where anybody is. She asked, where is this guy? It's like, this guy is in his quarters.
Yeah, he's over in that direction. But if I point in that direction, how much shit am I passing through before I... Can you
well, because it has a targeting thing more complicated than just a scope. She's like, point this in this direction.
Also, can't I turn off people know... I'm a Starfleet officer. Can't I turn off people knowing where I'm at on the station? Shouldn't only certain people have that ability to track me?
I think everybody has the ability, unless you... I guess you probably can turn it off, but I believe she probably outranks him. So therefore you can't turn it off to people above you.
Yeah, but he turns it on to her. He knows where she's at. He aims at her at the
end.
Well,
but she's not hiding where she is. But I think the targeting thing would be smart enough to say,
fair.
Like on Google Maps,
Fair.
Show me the CVS.
Science, Mike. Future science, okay? Relax.
Science. We're able to beam a moving bullet. I think it can figure out where her quarters are.
All right, false peril again. We're afraid she's gonna kill him.
So she grabs the gun and spies on the shooter in his quarters. She sees that he is studying her on his computer. He then goes to grab his rifle, and we're about to have a pretty cool sniper duel, which I thought was great. See, again, that element of this episode is fantastic. The idea that you have a sniper, like you're literally snipering, trying to find each other, whoever shoots first,
Well,
like, cool.
Yeah, what I thought this was is not only is it a snipery battle, but it's more, and we don't usually get this because we have more advanced weaponry on Star Trek, is it's an Old West duel. It's just like a high noon, we're both going to aim each other and who's the fastest draw kind of thing.
Right.
So,
right, and you
somewhat.
don't know that the other person knows that you're spying on them until they turn at you. Like, it's like that's like that element of it, so cool.
But they try to
What a
force
great
in the
finale.
false thing of like, oh, she gonna kill him? No.
It's strange. Oh, go back one, where this is where you can see
The
her
contacts,
contacts.
yeah.
She's wearing the blue contacts. So, anyway, we set up the sniper duel, which I thought was cool and memorable. She's forced to shoot him just as he shoots at her. She shoots him in the arm. They go to arrest him right before he gets back to his rifle. But again, so he has just shot at her through the super gun. She shot him in the arm. Then doesn't say, hey, Odo, go arrest this guy. He still has access to his weapon. She goes physically herself to stop him. And so in whatever time it took her to run through the station, take the escalator, whatever, all he had to do was like get up, pick up his gun, and blow her away. From her,
It's just
like, she
such
could have
an
been
easy
like,
way to be like, hey, insert whatever MacGuffin such that it has to be a secret, or else.
right. There's no reason for this to be a secret. You're right. And again, like the motivations are just so sloppy, or just not there at all.
And in an episode where I think we're supposed to learn something about Ezri because we did another 100% Ezri episode, what did we learn?
Well, I think Wolf was trying to show that she has this dark edge to her, but it doesn't. It's not successful.
Look, you got to look at who you cast sometimes. There ain't no dark edge here. They tried to put her in like Pat Benatar leather. That didn't happen. They tried to do it like, just let her be the goofy sort of fairy pixie dust because that's what.
Yeah. Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Robert Hewitt Wolf is such a better writer than this episode. But lastly, she asked the Vulcan why he did it, and he replies, because logic dictates it. How exactly?
Doesn't matter.
Like, what does that mean? How does logic dictate it for him? Again, that would have been a great investigatory tool to figure out, oh, he got it in his head that blah, blah, blah.
Much better episode had we started with the Vulcan killing the person. We learn about the Vulcan and their trauma. You get a good guest star, and then they have to put it together on the other side. So we know the motivations from the beginning. Look, make it about them.
And we watch him, that's a great idea. So she's investigating him, and he's investigating her, and whoever figures it out first is gonna kill the other one. That's interesting. We didn't get that. But well, you know what we do get? This.
AlamarEmmys, there was more. AlamarEmmys, it's AlamarEmmys time! Some things do defy explanation, don't they, Keith?
Yep. I don't know how well motivated that is either.
Oh, man.
Let's talk best moment.
All right, so I'm going to go first on this one. I'm going to let you do the tag at the end, or the stem bolts first, because I got to think about it still. But
okay.
I'm going to steal yours. The best moment is the O'Brien, the first time we learned the tech of the gun, and then experimenting with the tech of the gun, because I think it's the best idea of the episode, and it's very sci-fi-y, and it's using old tech in a new way that is interesting and brings up a lot of ethical questions and such, which don't actually need to be answered. They're interesting to just kind of mull on. So I think it's a great example of when not having to answer the questions is okay. When it's just kind of like a fun idea and it's like something to think about in sci-fi. The rest of the episode, unfortunately, I feel like has to make a little more sense. And then we falter there, but that's going to be my best moment.
Yeah, I agree with you on all that. I'll just take the other piece of that, and that's the sniper duel at the end. It's exciting, it's fun, It's like the stakes are immediately high. The tech is interesting, and like that, I found it very effective how ominous it is that she's watching him through a scope, and we watch him go to his gun and put up, and he's clearly looking for her, and when he aims it, like that suspense works for me. That is like, so in my head, my memory of this episode is so much more exciting than the episode is itself, because I picked those couple of ideas and couple of images, and in my memory, I rewrite the episode in a way in which that's excitingly executed. So when this episode was coming up, like, oh, cool, that's going to be fun. This the sniper duel episode. And then I watch it, I'm like, oh man, that's not what I fixed it in my memory, and it didn't work that way. Anyway, let's do stem balls.
You get some stem balls. Hell yeah, they are self-sealing. Here are some stem balls for you.
So I'm going first?
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, I guess that sort of is my review here. That we came up with a really cool concept with the tech of this, a serial killer on the station. Fun, that's cool. We haven't had sort of like a Columbo murder mystery in a while. We have this, the way that he's doing it, this sort of like super advanced and yet super old school murder weapon. So cool. What a scary idea that a serial killer has this kind of a weapon. And if you imagine, like, if somebody had that kind of weapon, that's the thing that would allow a serial killer to continue to exist and like kill thousands of people, right? In a way that we just talking with Jillian the other night, talking about how much more difficult it is to be a serial killer today because there are cameras everywhere. Back in the 70s, you pretty much do whatever you want. So like, again, cool idea. Love the tech. I think, exploring Duran one more time, okay, they haven't, I thought what they did having Avery Brooks play Duran made Duran genuinely scary and genuinely interesting. To take it back to, like Riker's understudy was such a disappointment. So anyway, so you have these elements that could be really interesting. Doing a Hannibal Lecter Clarice story with our young, enthusiastic Ezri. Okay, that's interesting too. Just the execution of this episode was just not good. Like the logic of it all, the mystery of it, the law and order of it. Like this would not, this, if you wrote this as just the investigation part, as a spec script for Law and Order, you would not get the job. And so it's, I think it is redeemed in some fashion because of the idea of this tech and for the suspense at the end. So it is more interesting by far than Prodigal Daughter, which was also a murder mystery starring Ezri 2 episodes ago. So it's way better than that. It's not as much fun as Emperor's New Cloak, but it does have a memorable moment in the episode. It has a memorable piece of sci-fi and it has a memorable moment. So for me, it's still better than those last 2 episodes, but it's not good, and it's not as good as I remembered it and was hoping for it to be. So at the end, after an episode mostly devoted to dick talk, it gets 69 stem bolts.
It's funny when we do this. Yeah, so everything you just said, and the unfortunate part here is that the most interesting parts of the episode are the parts that happen off screen, or the episodes that don't come to pass. Like when we presented the first couple minutes, dude, Cisco, Odo, Ezri and Bashir and O'Brien, murder mystery? Awesome. Sign me up. I'm in. I want to be a part of that. But then we shuttle off half the investigation and focus on the Ezri part. Okay, well, she's going to forensic scientist this. We're going to do Silence of the Lambs. But we realize that part of the thing of Silence of the Lambs, the predatory nature of it, the stalking nature, the psychological stalking, we can't do on Deep Space Nine because Ezri's not going to go there. There's never a threat of her going there. And so you kind of cut that whole plot thesis off at the balls. So what you're kind of left with is just ideas, like just sort of the skeletal nature of something, and there's just nothing to fill it with, right? We don't have a character actor who's chewing the scenery, who's given us something. We don't have Nicole's just not given anything really to do. They give her these really kind of emotionally high things, like the episode 2 weeks ago, and then something so fun last week, and then another high stakes episode this week with just no backstory or motivations to pull it off. Really just kind of put out there without a net. But as you said, or as I said as well, like, that all being the case, sometimes you go on a horror ride, Keith, or at Halloween you go on a haunted house. You know what's coming. There's gonna be some jump scares. You're gonna have some people trying to like scare you, touch you. You're gonna go around a corner. There's gonna be.
Don't touch me.
I know. I feel the same way. But, and they're all the same thing ultimately, right? Some are executed better than others. The pacing matters. What's around the next corner, and are the effects good? So in this episode, that all the complaints like aside, I thought the pacing was really strong. Like where we got to when we got there didn't feel long, didn't feel tedious. I felt the blocking and the staging was really good. I thought the score this week was excellent. It really added a bit of the tension and the building dynamics that we're not getting in the story. We got musically, so at least it feigned the emotional stakes, or at least the thriller stakes. So like it approximated what it thought it wanted to do as best as it could. I think the fault falls on the writing. And this character, unfortunately, we didn't have 7 seasons to build it. So and we're focusing so strongly here on a character we just have not built. I hope we have closed to this Ezri arc. And just like I was feeling fatigue of the mirror universe, and I probably judged it too harshly because of that, I'm feeling the Ezri fatigue here. Can we get back to the Dominion War? You said we're almost there, so hopefully we're there. I had it written down before you said the numbers, but like I did not last week I just didn't think it was fun, but there's no calories. This week I think there are at least some calories, if a little bland in the taste. So I'm also saying 69, and I can't wait till next week.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. So in the world, Field of Fire got a 6.6.
Oh, right on it there, basically.
Right on it, which makes it episode 152 out of 173. Emperor's New Cloak got a 6.3, which put it in the was like 106. It was like bottom 10. And the Prodigal Daughter also got a 6.3, which was bottom 10. We like this 3 episode like chunk that we have been in has been rough. Has been rough. But here is the good news. For the rest of the series, we are never going to be in the 6s again.
Okay.
So
you don't know me.
In the universe, on IMDb, that is.
Keith, I actually have a question.
Okay.
And we have a couple minutes here because this was a pretty brief episode. So I have a speculation, and I might be way off base, so let me ask you, because I don't actually know. We pretty much think they knew season 7 was the last season, right? They knew going in.
Oh yes,
Okay.
no. That was planned.
When in production of season 6 do they begin writing season 7?
I don't believe they begin writing it until the off season.
So, okay.
They might have like rough.
Because I was wondering, was it possible that they were writing these episodes with Jadzia in mind, or no?
No.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Okay.
Unless this as like a standalone episode was in their idea pile that they've been kicking around all the series.
And they're just like, who are we going to use it on?
Or just been like an idea for Jadzia, like a serial killer thingy, and that just sits on an idea pile for years and years.
So I was just wondering, like, in the formation of picking the episodes in pre-production in season 7, why you'd be like, let's put 3 of the new person.
Strange. It is strange. I don't quite get it. I think they weren't thinking of the Emperor's New Cloak as a Dax episode.
Yeah.
That was a Ferengi episode, but she just happened to be front and center on it.
Yeah, and once again, I'm not anti Nicole DeBerg, and I'm not even anti Ezri. It's just some look, Ram and Nog are great examples. They didn't know where those characters were going to be, and they developed over time, and there's just no time here.
Yeah, it is an odd decision to the timing of these episodes, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is like I was just complaining about on Strange New Worlds. I was complaining about their 10-episode seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not able to learn these characters or develop this world or whatever. So 10 is too few. 26 might be a little too many. Maybe 20. And I think that if every episode, so let's say every season of Deep Space Nine is 26 episodes. If you made them all 20 episodes and cut the bottom 6, I wouldn't do it because I find enjoyment out of all of them, including the bad ones. But like the series itself would be a better series. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Well, that means, Keith, we have entered the final 3 months of Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space
We are
Nine.
the final 3 months. And I'm very, very excited. So, like I said, we don't have any. I would say there are 0 bad episodes left, and I would say, looking at them here, I'd say every one of them from here on out is a good episode. Mm-hmm. The majority of them are great.
Obviously, we're doing like a huge watch along for the finale.
Yes. I mean, the finale, God, that's so...
I mean, maybe we find a day, like we'll have to talk about that, because we'll do a finale separate to the final episode review.
Yeah, I mean, I feel so conflicted about it, because like part of me wants you to watch it in a way that you're not distracted, but also that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah,
like we've done it this whole way. I'll put it this way. It
would be cool to do kind of a marathon day where we watch it, we take a pee break, and then we do the review all as kind of one thing. Would be kind of fun, but... Oh,
God, no way. Absolutely not. I don't have the spoons for that.
Yeah,
no freaking way.
Oh, that's right. You got to do your whole thing, too. Okay.
I gotta do my whole thing. But yeah, it's something that you'll probably want to watch more than once.
Yeah.
But
all right, what are we doing right now? Okay,
it's very exciting. Yeah. Anyway, so next week we are doing the episode Chimera, which will be very, very interesting. All right, folks.
I prefer the Chimera off.
Yeah, fair enough. I got nothing for that. We're gonna go away now. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching K&M Entertainment. If you enjoyed our particular brand of nonsense, please like and subscribe. Or become one of our patrons at patreon.com/KNM.
I would be self-conscious that I'd have a little peenie pop